October 15th, 2007. Clarence House, 11:47 p.m. Camilla Parker Bowles sat in stunned silence, the phone still pressed to her ear, as the echo of Charles's devastating words reverberated through her mind. "Camilla, I need to tell you something I should have said years ago. You were never my great love. You were just convenient." What had started as a routine goodnight call from Charles, who was traveling abroad, had turned into the most brutal conversation of Camilla's life. For 40 years, she had believed she was Charles's soulmate, his true love, the woman he had chosen over duty and tradition. But in 12 devastating minutes, Charles had shattered every illusion Camilla held about their relationship and revealed truths so cruel that she would never recover from hearing them. The phone call that was supposed to end with "I love you" instead ended with Camilla's complete emotional destruction. But the most shocking revelation wasn't about Charles's feelings for Camilla. It was about who he had always truly loved. The routine call turns deadly. October 15th, 2007, 11:35 p.m. The unexpected honesty. Charles was in India on an official royal tour, and his nightly phone calls to Camilla had become routine. Usually, these conversations were brief and affectionate, updates about his day, expressions of missing her, plans for his return. But this night was different. Charles had been drinking wine during a state dinner, and alcohol had loosened his usually guarded tongue. When Camilla answered the phone at Clarence House, she could hear the difference in Charles's voice immediately. "Camilla," Charles said, his words slightly slurred but his tone unusually serious. "I've been thinking about us, about our entire relationship, and I need to tell you some things. Charles, you sound tired. Perhaps we should talk tomorrow when you're—" "No, Camilla. I need to say this now. I've been carrying these thoughts for too long, and it's not fair to either of us." Camilla felt a chill of apprehension. In 40 years of knowing Charles, she had rarely heard him speak with such ominous determination. "I've been lying to you, Camilla, and more importantly, I've been lying to myself." What Charles said next would begin the systematic destruction of everything Camilla believed about their love story. The first devastating truth, 11:37 p.m. "You were never my first choice." Charles's first revelation hit Camilla like a physical blow, delivered with an honesty that was both shocking and cruel. "Camilla, you need to understand something that I've never had the courage to tell you. You were never my first choice. Not when we were young, not when I married Diana, not even now." Camilla gripped the phone tighter. "Charles, what are you saying?" "I'm saying that every major decision in my life, marrying Diana, having children, even eventually marrying you, was made with you as the backup plan, not the primary goal." Charles's words came faster now, as if a dam had burst. "When we were young, I chose the Navy over you. When I needed a wife, I chose Diana over you. When Diana died, I came back to you not because you were my great love, but because you were familiar and available." "Charles, you're drunk. You don't mean—" "I'm drunk enough to tell the truth, but sober enough to know exactly what I'm saying. And the truth is that you have spent 40 years in love with a man who has never loved you the way you deserve to be loved." Camilla felt her world beginning to crumble. "But you married me. You chose me over the throne when the queen objected. I chose you over the throne because giving up the throne was easier than being alone. Camilla, you were my consolation prize, not my victory." Don't miss Charles's most devastating revelation about Diana. The Diana confession. 11:40 p.m. Charles's greatest regret. Charles's next confession about Diana would destroy any remaining illusions Camilla had about her place in his heart. "Camilla, I need to tell you about Diana, about what she really meant to me. Charles, please don't do this to me. Not tonight. Diana was everything I never appreciated while I had her. She was young, beautiful, pure, devoted, and completely in love with me. And I threw it all away because I was too immature to recognize a miracle when I was living it." Charles's voice became thick with emotion. "Diana loved me the way every man dreams of being loved, completely, unconditionally, adoringly. She looked at me like I was her hero, her prince, her everything. And instead of treasuring that gift, I resented it because it made me feel guilty about my feelings for you." "Charles, stop, please. I can't stop. I need you to understand what I lost because of my selfishness. Diana would have done anything for me. She would have become anything I needed her to be. She would have loved me forever if I had just given her the chance." Charles's confession became more painful. "Do you know what Diana said to me during one of our last conversations? She said, 'Charles, I know you love Camilla, but I love you enough to step aside if that would make you happy. I just want you to be happy.' Can you imagine that level of selfless love?" Camilla was crying now, but Charles continued his brutal honesty. And what did I do with that incredible love? I wasted it. I threw it away. I chose you over the most perfect woman who ever lived. And for what? For comfort, for familiarity, for the easy option. You won't believe what Charles said about their affair. The affair truth. Charles's next revelation would destroy Camilla's understanding of their entire relationship history. Camilla, I need to be honest about our affair, about what it really meant to me. Charles, I can't take much more of this. Our affair wasn't a grand love story. It wasn't destiny or soulmate connection. It was the path of least resistance for a weak man who couldn't handle the demands of real love. Charles's analysis was brutally clinical. Diana challenged me to be better. She expected me to grow up, to be worthy of her love, to become the man she believed I could be. That was terrifying because it required effort and change and becoming someone worthy of her devotion. You, Camilla, never challenged me. You accepted me exactly as I was, selfish, weak, emotionally stunted. You enabled my worst traits instead of inspiring my best ones. That's not true. It is true. You made it easy for me to be mediocre. You never demanded that I become worthy of love because you were grateful for any attention I gave you. That wasn't love, Camilla. That was mutual convenience. Charles's most devastating assessment came next. Diana deserved a man who would fight for her, change for her, become better for her. You settled for a man who would never do any of those things. The difference is that Diana's expectations would have made me a better person, while your acceptance kept me exactly as I was. But Charles's cruelest revelation was about their marriage, the marriage reality. 11:46 p.m. Charles's brutal assessment. Charles's honesty about their marriage was so cruel that Camilla would later say it felt like being emotionally murdered. Camilla, our marriage has been a mistake from the beginning, and I think we both know it. How can you say that? We've been happy. We've been comfortable. There's a difference. We've settled into a routine that works for two middle-aged people who are afraid of being alone, but that's not the same as being happy. Charles's assessment was devastatingly accurate. We have no passion, no growth, no excitement. We're like two old friends who got married because it was convenient, not because we couldn't live without each other. But we love each other. Do we, really? Or do we love the idea of not being alone? Do we love each other? Or do we love the comfort of familiar companionship? Charles delivered his most cutting analysis. Camilla, when was the last time you felt truly desired by me? Not appreciated, not comfortable, but actually desired. When was the last time I looked at you the way I used to look at Diana? Camilla couldn't answer because she realized Charles was right. Our marriage is two people going through the motions of love, because the alternative, admitting we've wasted decades on a relationship that was never as meaningful as we pretended, is too painful to face. Don't miss Charles's final devastating conclusion. The final destruction. 11:50 p.m. Charles's ultimate truth. Charles's final words to Camilla would end their marriage in everything but legal terms. Camilla, I need to tell you the truth about what you've meant to me, and what you'll never be able to mean to me. Charles, please stop. I can't bear any more. You've been a placeholder, Camilla, a warm body to keep me from feeling completely alone. You've been the woman I settled for, because I was too much of a coward to live with the consequences of losing the woman I actually loved. Charles's words became increasingly cruel. You've spent 40 years trying to be enough for a man who was never going to think you were enough because you weren't Diana. You've tried to fill a space in my heart that was shaped by someone else, and you've failed because it was impossible from the beginning. Every time I look at you, I see what I settled for instead of what I lost. Every time I touch you, I remember touching someone who actually inspired passion. Every time I tell you I love you, I'm really saying you're the best I can do now that the woman I actually loved is gone. Camilla was sobbing, but Charles wasn't finished. The tragedy isn't that I don't love you, Camilla. The tragedy is that you do love me, and you've wasted your life loving someone who was never capable of loving you back properly, because his heart died with his first wife. Charles's final words were the cruelest. If Diana walked through our door right now alive and whole, I would leave you without a second's hesitation. And we both know it's true. The devastating silence. 4:42 p.m., the end of everything. After Charles finished his brutal confession, there was complete silence on the phone for nearly 2 minutes. Camilla sat in her chair at Clarence's house, tears streaming down her face, too destroyed to speak. Finally, Charles's voice came through the phone, suddenly sober and horrified by what he had revealed. Camilla, are you there? Yes, she whispered. I think I've said things I shouldn't have said. No, Charles, you've said things you should have said 40 years ago. Camilla, I was drunk. I didn't mean, you meant every word, and we both know it. Camilla's voice was steady now, with the calmness that comes after complete destruction. Thank you for finally being honest with me. At least now I know why I've felt like I was fighting a ghost for the past 40 years. Camilla, please don't. Don't what? Don't face reality? Don't accept that I've wasted my entire adult life loving someone who was never going to love me back. Camilla's final words to Charles were delivered with devastating dignity. I'm going to bed now, Charles. When you come home, we can discuss what comes next. But this marriage, this relationship, whatever we've been pretending to have, it's over. She hung up the phone. The aftermath. October 2007. The slow destruction. Charles returned from India 3 days later to find Camilla completely changed. The warm, accommodating woman he had married had been replaced by someone cold, distant, and irreparably damaged. Camilla never again told Charles she loved him. She never again initiated physical affection. She never again showed the slightest jealousy or insecurity because she had finally accepted that she had already lost the competition before it began. Their marriage continued in legal terms only. They attended public functions together, lived in the same house, maintained the appearance of a royal couple. But privately, Camilla had emotionally divorced Charles the night he told her the truth about their relationship. The truth revealed. Charles's drunken phone call to Camilla revealed the devastating reality of their 40-year relationship, that it had always been based on convenience rather than love, comfort rather than passion, settling rather than choosing. His brutal honesty about Diana's superiority and Camilla's role as a placeholder destroyed any possibility of genuine intimacy between them. Most importantly, Charles's confession proved that some truths are too devastating to survive. Once spoken, they poison everything that came before and make everything that comes after feel like a lie. Camilla learned that sometimes getting the honesty you've always wanted is worse than living with comfortable lies. And Charles learned that there are some truths so cruel that speaking them destroys not just the person who hears them, but the person who speaks them as well. Some phone calls end relationships. Others reveal that relationships ended long before anyone was brave enough to admit it. Charles's brutal truth didn't destroy his marriage to Camilla. It simply revealed that their marriage had been dead from the beginning, kept alive only by mutual denial and fear of loneliness.